Alright, today we're going to be using Wix, which is a free website builder. So once you've created your account, you hit the sign in button, put your username and password in, and you hit go. The first thing you're going to see is your account page. It's going to show all the sites that you've made, if you've made any. And we're going to go ahead and explore the templates because Wix has an incredible amount of templates to choose from. Most of them are free. I've done a little bit of work ahead of time and I found a really great one for my students to use for the American folk tradition. So in the education section on page 4, I found this really neat little sleepaway camp template. The thing about templates is don't worry about the content that's on there because that can all be deleted or changed. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go through and I'm going to delete some of these items to save us a little bit of time, and then I'll show you some of the kind of neat things you can do with Wix and just how easy it is to embed content. So the first thing we need to do is click on Edit this site. That will take us to the Wix HTML5 editor where you can make all your changes. If at any time you want to see what your website looks like, after you make changes, you simply come up to the preview button, hit that, and then you'll see what the website looks like in real time. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pause this and delete a few items and then we'll come back. Okay, so I've deleted some things here. Now we can go ahead and start working on changing some of the elements on this page. So let's go ahead and this is our header, so we can change that just by hitting Edit Text. And we're going to go ahead, actually what I want to do is I want to move this dialog box so that I can see what I'm doing. And we're going to call this the American Folk Tradition. And it looks like it's kind of getting cut off here, so you'll see if you just tap on this you can move it however you want, and that looks pretty good right there. So now what we need to do is maybe rename our pages. And how we do that is we tap on the menu bar and we hit rename pages. The home one's fine. We're going to change this one to read myths. Our page address will be myths. Camp life. Let's go ahead and we'll leave that one there. We'll come back to that one later. Parents, we'll call this one Tall Tales. And again, our address, we want to probably have that match up. And then this one we'll call Folk Tales. And then once you've done that, you'll see that now all your pages have been renamed. And so then we can start working on changing those pages. So let's go back to our home page. And we're going to work with this element. So if you tap in here, you can actually change pictures, you can change words. And what we're going to do is we're going to move this whole element. So if we actually tap on that area, we can move this, drag it up, and you'll see that you can actually position it. It'll tell you when it's centered. So that looks pretty good right there. And I'm going to delete this. And we'll change this to say, welcome to my website about the American folk tradition. On the site, you will learn more about myths, tall tales, and folk tales. And we can delete this text, we don't need that. And then we can center this text here on the picture. That looks pretty good right there. And I don't want this picture here, I'd like to replace that. So if I tap on it and I hit change image, then this little box will open up and you can upload images here. I've already uploaded several. So we'll use my family picture here and then we'll hit change image and then you'll see that there's my picture of my family. So it's a nice little opening page here for our American Folk Tradition website. Now down here, we're going to use this element later, so I'm just going to leave that here for now. Okay, so let's go ahead and start working on our myths page. So again, we come up here to the page navigator, we hit myths, and I again deleted most of the content on here. I left some things. So what we want to do is we're going to edit this text to say myths, and the first myth that we're going to work with, we're just going to pick the one that we talked about first in the unit. And that one was titled Coyote Steals, the Sun and Moon. And then here you can describe what the myth was about. This is the Zuni myth that we read in the unit. Please look around and see more content. You can change that to whatever you want. If the box is too big, you can change that, resize that too. And actually we're going to do that because I have a nice little video that I want to embed in here that I found on YouTube. So I'm going to make that box a little bit bigger. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some content. Obviously it's better to have the content ready. And so what I did was I went ahead and I went on YouTube and I found a nice little animated video that somebody made on this story. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to copy this link and go back to my HTML editor. And this is where you're going to add your content. So you hit the add button, and this is media that we're going to add. It happens to be a video. Now it'll automatically embed a generic video that Wix has made themselves. So we want to change that. So just tap on it. And then you're going to hit settings, and then we're going to take this out and we're going to put our other video in. So we're going to paste that other one in there, then we hit update, and there's our video. So now we just need to close these dialog boxes so we can see it. And it's going to go right in here. Now you're going to notice it's a little bit too long here, so we can adjust that. So you come down here and you just pull it up a little bit, and you can even stretch it out a little bit this way if you want so that it looks nice in there. And there's our video about Coyote Steals the Sun and Moon. I also found some kind of interesting pictures on this website called Hopi Kachina. These are Kachina dolls. These were characters in the story, so we're going to try to link to that if we can. So we're going to edit this text here, and to do that we just tap on it and then highlight it, and we're going to say learn about Kachina dolls. And let's go ahead, and that window's a little bit too big, so we'll move that up just a little bit. We'll drag this element just right up here. And we don't want it to say wet register, we're going to have it say something else. So tap on it and hit settings. And we're going to have it say click. And we don't want it to link to folktales. We want it, so we click back to link options. We want it to be a web address, and it's going to be this address right here. So we tap on that, and we're going to copy that link, and we're going to stick it right here. And that should do it. So I think that's pretty much it for this particular page. And again, if you want to see what it looks like, just hit the preview button, and you can just try out all the elements and see if they work. Looks like our video's working. Looks pretty good. If we hit click, it should take us to the page that has the Kachina doll pictures on it. So perfect. So we'll go back to our editor and hit this button here to go back to our HTML5 editor, and we can now start working on the Tall Tales page. So to go to our Tall Tales page, we're going to come up here to the page navigator and we're going to hit Tall Tales. Obviously we don't want to charge for sessions, dates, and fees, so we're going to take this element, we'll move it up here, make sure it's nice and centered, and then we're going to delete this content. And I kind of like this font, so I'm going to leave that there so that I can edit that if I need to. So we'll move that kind of over here. And let's make this a little bit, move this text box just a little bit more so we can put some more text in there. And then you hit edit text. And we're going to call this Paul Bunyan of the North Woods. And again, I found a video on YouTube that I'd like to share with my audience. So let's make this just a little bit bigger, stretch that out. And it looks like it's going to be, oh, it's a Walt Disney film that I found from 1958 on YouTube, which I thought was really kind of interesting. So we're going to copy that link here. Go back to our editor. And again, we're going to use the add button. And this happens to be media, a video. And here's the generic video that they like to, the generic Wix video. But we don't want that, so we'll hit settings and we'll replace that with the one that we found. And now we've got a nice little video of Paul Bunyan. And again, you can resize the video however you want. I think that looks pretty good like that. And so that will do it for the Tall Tales page. Now we're going to move on to our Folk Tales page. But before we move on, we might want to change this here. So we'll have that say Paul Bunyan, Disney. And now we'll go ahead and we'll move on to our folktale page. And the folktale we're going to kind of work with a little bit is the Ballad of John Henry. So we'll take this whole box here, we'll kind of reposition it, and again look for the little lines to show up that it's centered. And that looks pretty good right there. We'll change this to say John Henry. And I again found another nice little YouTube video to share, so we'll extend this box out a little bit. And I found a nice little Ballad of John Henry by Doc Watson on YouTube. So again, we'll copy this, go back to our editor, and we're going to add that media. Tap on the video, hit settings, and we'll take this URL out, replace it with what we want. And now we've got our correct video in here. So we'll reposition that. It looks pretty good, just like that. And that'll do it for our folktales page. Obviously, you can add all kinds of media. You can add documents, you can add music, you can add all kinds of things to this, but this is just a little preview of the kind of things that you can add to a website. And again, if you hit preview, you can go back and make sure that all of your elements are here that you want. And my very last step that I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the page that I didn't want, which was the Camp Life page. And to do that, you just hit this little page settings, and then you hit delete. And now our page should be ready to go. And so how we're going to do that is we hit save. And we can call this American Folk Tradition. Oops, it's too long. We'll just call it American Folk. And hit Save Now. And then you're going to hit Publish your site online. And now it's ready to go. So if anybody wants to see your site, here's the URL. And once they click on it, this is what they'll see. They'll see your finished website. And that's how you create a free website on Wix.